Okay, my friends, it's now another edition of Mr. Hunt Films. Yes, that's right, get yourself relaxed. Keep your hands to yourself because today we're talking about your iPad. Yeah, that's right, we're going to start working with devices. Here it is, spinning around and moving your iPad. We're going to learn about what those buttons do and how to make it move and shake. Get ready! All right, so we're very excited, aren't we? So, once you've got your device and you've sat down, it's time for us to start talking about our devices. Yeah, that's right. That's me on your screen. I did it again. Yeah, it's called green screen technology. We'll have a whole class on that as things get going. But today, now that you have your devices and you're sitting down and you're ready to go, let's take a look at what is inside of our devices. So go ahead and open up your tablets. All right, welcome to your iPad. You can see that Mr. Hunt's iPad is here. And you all have your iPads now in front of you. We're going to go ahead and open them up. Thank you for sitting down. You can see the reflection on Mr. Hunt's screen is the computer, my iPad that I'm recording this on. Let's talk about some of the things that your iPad has right now. You can see on the top side, you have your volume controls. So volume controls are here, up and down. You also have what's called a 3.5 millimeter jack. That is right there for your headphones. There is also a power button and your home button, which is on your screen here. So we're going to go ahead. Well, actually, before we do that, we're going to talk about your lightning jack. Yeah, that's your lightning jack right there. That's where the charger goes in. And remember, make sure that we always have help charging our devices. These are the outputs of the speakers if you don't have your headphones put in. Now we'll flip it back over and set it down. Now you notice that Mr. Hunt's has a case, yours has a case too, and that's there to keep it protected. If we go ahead and push the home button, we can see our iPad. Now the iPad has a couple of different modes. When it's flat like this, it's called landscape mode. And when we turn it to the other side, it switches around and is called portrait mode, portrait and landscape mode. They change because of the internal sensors that are inside your iPad. It makes it move around so you can see it better. Now I'm going to press the home screen again here. Make sure that we go into portrait mode so you can see everything that's going on. Now this top part has some widgets, and these widgets that are here are pre-programmed into the device. Then you have some applications. These smaller things are called applications. And then you have a navigation screen. This navigation screen is down below on all of your devices, and usually it will be closest to you. You can see this right here is the internet browser, music, mail, the date. This is a picture gallery application. And applications use like the logos game that we played. You have to kind of know what the logo is before you push it. And this is a little notepad. This is my settings. Clever. Clever is a place where we can get to applications and things for the classroom. And then this is a thing called self-service, where you can download applications to your device. Mr. Hunt will probably have you do that here in a little bit. Now you can see, let's take a look first at the weather. Now the weather that's here is not in the right place. It says somewhere in Mexico is where we are. So let's go ahead and open up the weather app. Now it's asking me to allow the weather icon to use my location. We want to do that because once it uses your location, it'll be able to give you the accurate weather of the day. So we're going to allow while using the app. And then all of a sudden, like magic, it uses my IP address, something that we learned about from our video, to determine my location almost in an instant and show the weather for today. Mr. Hunt's making this on Indigenous People Day, the day that we had off from school. You can see what the weather was and will be. And if you move your finger up, you can scroll the browser down. And if you move your finger down, you can scroll the browser up. Okay, let's talk about some things. One of those things is some words that we just heard: allow and don't allow. So what does it mean to allow your device to do something? Well, it means that you're giving it permission. For example, in this case, you're giving your device permission to share your IP address, which means your location. Sometimes it's okay to allow. Sometimes you don't want to allow your device to see where it is, depending upon the application we're using. This is all about being safe online. So allow means that you're giving your device permission to do something. Don't allow means that you're telling your device no. Okay, so now we see that the weather is here, but how do we get out of this? Well, we do it by pushing the home button. And the home button takes us right back to where we want to be. And then we see that message again. Allow and don't allow. Well, we know that we want to allow it, so we will. All right. Now, you see a series of things. It just changed. The location just magically changed as we allowed the weather app to be able to use what we wanted it to. There's a couple of things that happen on your device. If you swipe to the right, it'll bring up a taskbar over on the left-hand side. That shows certain things, depending upon how you have it set up. Right now, it shows the battery life in a couple of different places. Shows it here on the left-hand side. It also shows it up over here in the right-hand corner. That little triangle that you see is the signal strength of the Wi-Fi that's in the room. Also, Mr. Hunt has a calendar that's here, and it also shows the web activity. Now, underneath that is a button called Edit. We're going to go ahead and push the button called Edit. And then it brings us into, see how they're moving and shaking? This is the Edit screen. We're going to try to add a new application to our fast buttons. When we push the plus button that was up on the top left, we now have some suggestions that Siri has decided that we might want to use in our sidebar. Well, let's go ahead and add the calendar. Let's click the calendar and then add to the widgets. And then you can see how it magically goes and adds to the widgets. Let's do that again. Let's add another one. It brings up our suggested widgets. And here Mr. Hunt sees a stock market locator. A stock market is here. And then there's some notes. And then there's some music, so we can open the music app to enable this widget. Well, okay. There's also photos. And then there's the world clock. So let's go ahead and add the world clock so we can tell time in different time zones. I know we're also working on telling time in this class. So let's go ahead and add that widget to our fast corner. And then we're going to click done. To get out of the fast corner, to get into it, we swiped to the right. Now to get out of it, we're going to swipe to the left. And it brings us right back to our home screen. Does anybody need any help? Raise your hand. Mr. Hunt will come help you. Okay, let's review what we've just learned. Here's your iPad again, and that series of buttons that go with it. Yeah, that's right. There is your home button. That's the first button that's on the bottom there, that circle button. Then the next button that we want to look at are our volume controls. Volume controls on the side. Then, yes, that is your screen, your tablet screen, the part that's always protected all the time, and we want to keep our hands clean, as well as the power button. Yes, that fabulous power button. Oh, where's the iPad going? Oh, there it is. Oh, geez, I thought we lost it for a second. Oh, that's right. We didn't talk about this. The front side camera. Yeah, it's got a camera. We can have some fun with that. No, not that kind of camera. That's an old camera. My what? Now that we're back on our home screen, there's some pretty magical things that you can do with your device. There's an application on your device that looks like a bunch of gears. It's right here. Can everybody find that? That's called the settings button. The settings button is the place where the instructions happen to the software on your program. And it's where you can customize some of the things that are within your iPad. So let's go ahead and push settings. Now the settings brings up a whole bunch of different things, like airplane mode, the Wi-Fi you're connected to, the Bluetooth settings. Bluetooth was one of those icons that we had in the last class. What I want you to do is scroll up to find home screen and app library. I'm going to push that. It shows use large applications. And if that's not already clicked, we're going to go ahead and click that. That's going to make our apps a lot bigger on our home screen, so we can see just exactly what they are. Then, from there, we're going to push the home button. I remember where the home button is. And you see how my apps just got a lot bigger? They just got bigger because we adjusted them in the settings, so everything's bigger. Does anybody need any help? Raise your hand. Mr. Hunt will come help you. Now, if we swipe right again, remember that brings us to our fast buttons, and we swipe left to get out of that. Now, each one of your home screens has different pages. Now, on mine, I have 2 different pages. I have apps on the first page, and if I swipe to the left, I can see my apps that are on the second page. But if I want to move one of those apps, if I have space on the first page from the second page, so I got to take one of these apps that is on the second page, move it to the first page. So I'm going to take on this one the clock. Now the clock, I'm going to push it and hold it. And now you see everything shaking. Well, I can drag it to the first page. And now it's in place on the first page. Let's try that on your device by scrolling to the second screen, finding an app, pushing and holding it, and then dragging it over to the first page. Once you're done and you have it there and the apps are still shaking, let's go ahead and press done, and it's effectively moved the app from one screen to another. Does anybody need any help? Raise your hand. Mr. Hunt will come help you. Your device has something called the background. And the background is where all of your apps land when you don't close them out. And here's how you close them out. Okay, so we see our device here and we have our home screen button. We're going to press the home screen button twice. And that brings up all the apps that we had just used. You should see them there. Now, Mr. Hunt has a couple more that are up. You should see a weather and you should see settings on your screen. Now, what we're going to do, we have the option to be able to go right directly back into those apps if we just press them once, but don't do that. Follow the instructions. Take your right index finger and swipe it away. See that? Now it's gone and now it's closed. Swipe it away. Swipe it away. Swipe it away. And once they're all gone, it'll take you right back to the home screen. Okay, now, my friends, it is that time. That time for you to close up your iPads. Make your way with your iPad to the charging station, and one at a time, with the help of Mr. Hunt, we can plug them back in and put them back where they belong. Please, one at a time. If we have time at the end of this, and as long as we can do this correctly, we may have time for a dance break. But we've got to get through this to be able to get to the dance break. So please, pay attention to what Mr. Hunt has to say, and do not hurry. Stay in a line and keep your hands to yourself. Hand them to him one at a time so we can place them back into the charging station.
It's like a family tree, part of you.